Episode 1. The series begins with a fight, where we see a lot of heroes are seen fighting skeleton monsters. The epic fight is going on and heroes seem to obliterate the skeleton demons and make short work of them. They look up and see the leader of these skeleton monsters, and he is a big scary skeleton. He easily beats all the heroes and they are seen laying on the ground. It is not reality but actually a game called YGGDRASIL, a popular online game, and is set to shut down. YGGDRASIL is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game released in 2126 that is discontinued after 12 years of standing as the top MMORPG. Mamonga, who is controlling the leader of the skeleton's monsters, is the guild master of Aints Ul Gaon. He is conversing with guildmate Hero during the last moments of YGGDRASIL in their guild hall, the Great Tomb of Nazareth. Hero bids farewell to Mamonga and logs out. Mamonga is enraged about his friends leaving the game, but cools down after noting that they did not abandon the guild. It was that they had real-life issues to deal with. However, Mamonga, guild leader of Aints Ul Gaon, decides to stay and not log out while his friend Hero has to log out and bids farewell to him. Mamonga retrieves the staff of Aints Ul Gaon and proceeds to the throne room. On the way, he orders Sebas and the battle maids to follow and meets Albedo there. Mamonga sits on the throne as he wants to spend his final moments in the game sitting on his throne, and while sitting on his throne he modifies the setting of Albedo out of playfulness because it's the last few minutes till the shutdown. On a whim, he changes her settings to be in love with him, as its original setting created by Tabula was that she was an absolute bitch. When the clock hits midnight, the officially announced shutdown time, Mamonga closes his eyes to await the forced logout by the server. A new timer starts and he realizes something is wrong as he is not ejected and remains in the game. He then notices that the server is still up and running. With his mind clouded in confusion about what has happened and why has he not logged out of the game, he then realizes that he still retains the outward appearance of his game avatar and tries to access the game functions like consoles, but the functions are inaccessible. The next great shock comes in tow when he sees the NPCs of Nazareth begin to show sentience. He discovers, to his astonishment, that the NPCs have developed their own personality and can be directly communicated with as if they were humans. Albedo, in particular, begins exhibiting the personality traits based on the settings Mamonga made, much to his shock. In order to assess the situation, he orders Sebas to survey the outside of Nazareth while Mamonga sits behind, still trying to grasp the new circumstances he finds himself in. Albedo gets very touchy with him, but he stops her and orders her to call every guardian except those from the 4th and 8th floors to meet him on the arena floor on the 6th floor. Mamonga teleports to the amphitheater. There, he meets Aura and Mare and asks them to help in testing the staff of Aints Ul Gaon. He later summons the primal fire elemental and even asks Aura if she wants to fight it, to which she agrees and drags the unwilling Mare into the ordeal. After they finish sparring with the fire elemental spirit, they are given refreshments by Mamonga, at which they are surprised. The floor guardians then begin to arrive, and they all swear their loyalty to the Overlord of Nazareth. Episode 2. The floor guardians of Nazareth enter the arena and introduce themselves. Guardian of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor, Shaltir Bloodfallen, who is a true vampire, then enters Cocytus, the guardian of the 5th floor, whom Mamonga tells is the definition of the warrior. Finally enters Demiurge, the guardian of the 7th floor, a true demon. Along with him enters Albedo, the overseer of the floor guardians. They, upon arriving, at once pledge their loyalty to Mamonga. At this, Mamonga is greatly pleased. After the guardians swear their loyalty to Mamonga, he hopes that they'll fulfill their duties without failure. Sebas comes and reports that the guild hall was somehow moved to an unknown location. Sebastian reports to him that Nazareth is surrounded by grasslands and not a swamp. Mamonga confirms that Nazareth has been transported. Mamonga, astonished at this, starts by strengthening their defenses and requests Mare to use his earth magic to blend the Great Tomb of Nazareth into the surrounding area and give the guardians their respective orders. He also confirms that the NPCs are loyal to him and teleports to leave the amphitheater. When Mamonga leaves, the guardians start to discuss about their benevolent master. The guardians, astonished at his dark aura of instilling fear and intelligence, leaves to do their assigned work. Mamonga plans on going outside of Nazareth to see for himself. He encounters Demiurge's 3 demon generals on the 1st floor. Demiurge notices Mamonga and requests to accompany him outside. Mamonga is amazed by the beauty of the new world and jokingly suggests on taking over the world, which causes Demiurge to misinterpret his intentions. Mamonga sees Mare doing a good job concealing the walls of Nazareth and rewards him with the ring of Aints Ul Gaon. Albedo descends from the sky and tells Mare that Mamonga is currently disguising himself as his usual appearance will cause the residents of Nazarick to halt their work and await his orders. Mamonga then gives Albedo a ring of Aints Ulgaun since her role as the overseer of the floor guardians requires her to be able to supervise the other floor guardians quickly and teleport back to Nazarick. She screams happily upon receiving it. In the frontier, a group of warriors patrols the area while a mysterious group watches them. The mysterious figure orders his men to attack the next village and guide the beasts to their cages. Episode 3. In the frontier, Gazef Stronov and his warrior troops encounter a ransacked village. He tells his vice-captain to send the survivors to Erantal, but the vice-captain warns him that the attack on the villages was a trap to lure them out. Gazef disregards his warning and continues to pursue the Imperial Knights. In Nazarick, Mamonga, using the mirror of remote viewing, discovers a village being attacked by knights. At first, he doesn't want to get involved as there's no benefit in saving them, but when he sees Sebas's face, it reminds him of his guildmate Touchme, who had saved him from being peaked, and the ideals which he holds. That makes him decide to save the village as a way to repay his debt to Touchme. Mamonga teleports himself to the outskirts of the village. He arrives there through a gate that makes the soldiers afraid while they were about to kill two siblings in Emot and Nemu Emot. Mamonga casts a high-tier spell and it easily kills one of the two soldiers and uses the dead soldier to make a Death Knight and orders it to kill every soldier in the area. He saves Inri Emot and Nemu Emot from the knights. The summoned Death Knight slaughters the soldiers on sight. Albedo soon joins him, in full armor. The appearance of Mamonga and Albedo frightens the two humans, prompting Aints to disguise himself as a masked magic caster. Before departing to take care of the remaining soldiers, he introduces himself as Aints Ulgaun. After Aints saves the village, he gains information about the new world from the village chief. He decides to withdraw, but Gazef's troops arrive at the village. Aints Ulgaun introduces himself as the one that saved the village. Gazef thanks him for saving the village. However, an unknown group has surrounded Karn village. Episode 4. Nigan Gridlewin, the captain of the Sunlight Scripture of the Slain Theocracy, marches on Karn village with a team of magic casters to kill Gazef. The Sunlight Scripture, led by Nigan Gridlewin, prepares to attack Karn village and kill Gazef Stronov. When Karn village is surrounded, Gazef requests Aints Ulgaun to protect the village once more, knowing that it is a selfish request. However, Aints agrees due to his respect for him and hands him a souvenir sculpture as a gift, which confuses Gazef. Gazef and his troops valiantly attempt to save the villagers from the fighting. Gazef uses his martial arts against the angels, but he becomes overwhelmed by their magic, resulting in all his troops dead or unable to fight. Gazef and his men fight bravely, but they are beaten severely by Nigan's men. Nigan tells Gazef that he should abandon the villagers and save his own life. Instead, Gazef taunts Nigan by telling him that someone in the village is stronger than he is. Nigan thinks he's bluffing and orders his angels to finish Gazef off. However, just before he is killed, he is suddenly teleported along with his men to the village storage house. Gazef notices that the sculpture has vanished from his hand, now realizing that he was saved by none other than Aints. Before Nigan's magic casters could have dealt the final blow, an item that Aints had previously given Gazef activated and swapped the latter and his men with Aints and Albedo. Aints reveals that his whole scheme was to test the power that the Slain Theocracy's men had and that he was using Gazef to do so. Aints confronts the Sunlight Scripture and requests them to surrender or face the consequences. Aints uses Negative Burst on the Archangel Flame and uses Hell Flame on the Principality Observation. Nigan becomes desperate and uses the Sealing Crystal, a 7th tier spell that summons the Dominion Authority, a powerful angel, to attack Aints. Aints feels utterly disappointed at even his strongest angel, showing it in his expression. Nigan thinks Aints is joking and orders the Dominion Authority to attack, but it does the slightest damage to him. The attack barely inflicts pain on Aints, which he scoffs about. Albedo, however, is infuriated that someone hurt her beloved Aints and threatens to massacre them. Albedo gets mad and curses this lower life form for hurting her beloved. Aints calms Albedo down and uses Black Hole on the Dominion Authority, and proceeds to obliterate the angel with a black hole. Dumbfounded and horrified at the power Aints displayed, Nigan begins to beg for his life, but he is turned down by Aints and Albedo. Aints responds by quoting one of Nigan's previous statements. The remaining members face the consequences of their foolishness. Aints easily defeats the Sunlight Scripture and returns to Nazarick. He announces his name change and orders his NPCs to spread his name to the New World, while his servants misinterpret his declaration and prepare for their own plan on taking over their world. The Floor Guardians prepare a plan in secret to take over the world without Aints' knowledge. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.